This is T just saying, welcome to the AEW review. Well, AEW's back on Wednesday night, so I guess that's pretty good, or whatever. But, let's see. On to recap, NXT got low viewership and kind of saw the signs of why NXT got low viewership was due to the fact that there was some good parts, but they had matches where, how can I say, you didn't know who the other person was. Yeah, Cameron Grimes facing against somebody, and then you got um, Roger Strong facing against somebody, and I think that main event went on a little bit too long, and the women's match in the very beginning just, you have to find a way to maintain your audience, and they got low viewership. So hopefully they're paying attention to that. Maybe USA is happy with the ratings they're getting, but if they want to improve and grow, NXT really needs to start doing better. So on to AEW. I don't know the ratings for AEW yet, but AEW also got the same problems as NXT. But this is the AEW review. So AEW starts off with Chris Jericho, the GOAT, which stands for Getting Old and Tired. He shows up to guest commentate. So I just don't know the reason why Chris Jericho. Oh, he saw in the book. Yeah, okay. So anyway, the first match on the card was the Young Bucks versus Eddie Kingston and Penta Zero Nero. Hopefully I got that name right. So they fought against the Young Bucks. Young Bucks always starts off the show with a 20-minute match, doing all the moves, being really annoying. Like I don't like the Young Bucks have that go away heat with me because I don't want to see my TV. I see my TV every week doing the same garbage, 20-minute matches, trying to get all his moves. Both of them trying to get all their moves in. I'm like, maybe you can save some of those moves for like the pay-per-view. Like people be like, oh, I didn't know the Young Bucks can do this, but the Young Bucks go on TV every week, being annoying, doing the same type of stuff for 20 minutes. Uh, the surprise of this match was that Eddie Kingston and Pentagon Jr. won. They won the match, which surprised me. So this match basically is the same thing. They do all their moves. Then the Good Brothers come out, and then that guy who sprayed that stuff at them trying to interfere. It's the same thing. Nothing different. The same. So it was a 20-minute match. Surprised that Eddie Kingston and Pentagon Jr. won. I'm surprised about that. So I guess they're number one contenders for the tag team championships. So let's see how that goes. And we go backstage with Christian Cage, who's talking to Jungle Boy about the match with Kenny Omega for the AEW championship. Christian Cage, one word of advice: don't look into the camera. I mean, we all know the camera's there, but look like that you two are talking to each other without noticing the camera's there. Basically, you said, "Oh, we're all proud of you." You look into the camera, like, come on, man. And then Jungle Boy was like, "Yeah, I guess yes." So Jungle Boy, he don't say nothing. So I don't know why he's in this role. And then you had a Luchasaurus and some little guy show up. I thought Luchasaurus was gonna be a little jealous, but apparently, no. They're all dorks. They're all nerds and dorks in this segment. So this is basically what I would have done. Luchasaurus shows up. He sounds jealous of all the success that Jungle Boy is getting, because what is Luchasaurus doing? What is that little boy doing? They ain't doing nothing. So at least have a feud between them, going on between them. I would have had Lance Archer, because Lance Archer is not doing anything. I would have had Lance Archer get involved and kind of, say things about Jungle Boy like, you think you tough and all this other stuff. You think, I'm not getting all these opportunities. And then the next week at what they call Road Ranger, you have Jungle Boy versus Lance Archer in a match. Somehow Jungle Boy wins. And then Luchasaurus gets, this is starting to build a feud that will actually, it's an actual story. And it will culminate to Jungle Boy being pushed to the moon. So, uh, I just, when the segments started to look dorky and nerdy, I just don't take it seriously. Speaking of not taking things seriously, we have an in-ring segment with Ethan Page and Scorpio Sky, which I just found out that the guy was Harold from Daniel Bryan and Kane, team called Hell No, Team Hell No, and I did not know that this man was Harold. So I guess that's very interesting. But anyway, so we got Ethan Page in the ring talking about Darby Allin, and they're supposed to have some type of match, coffin drop, whatever, coffin match. And then Sting come out. Sting probably has the most easiest job, easiest job, and Christian. All they do is just show up. That's it. Just show your face, and that's it. Sting ain't really contributing to nothing. And Darby Allin, he shows up out of nowhere, and then they start fighting. And Ethan Page. I think the audience was saying that they couldn't hear what he was saying, so I think that I think Ethan Page probably has that go away heat as well. So Darby Allin, he got the best of him. Little guy Darby Allin, little scrappy dude, scrappy dappy dude guy got one over Ethan Page. So then Ethan Page just canceled the match, and I guess that was it. Then we had a match between Jungle Boy and Jake Evans. Jungle Boy won. I kind of felt like this match was a downgrade, considering that Jungle Boy, he got the opportunity to fight against the champion of AEW, so he should be like on an upper platform. And again, like I said, it'd be a perfect opportunity for Lance Archer to come out and challenge Jungle Boy, but we didn't get that. What we got was a match, basically a downgrade, because Jake Evans is not like on top level; he's like on the bottom. So Jungle Boy just, I don't know, we're just fighting against somebody who is, beneath him. And that's the same way that happened at NXT with Cameron Grimes facing against a nobody and Roger Trump facing against a nobody. You kind of have matches where these people that are kind of red hot a little bit fighting against people that you're not interested in seeing. Uh, so there was like, I guess it was a spot Jake Evans kicked Jungle Boy in the head, and it kind of shook up Jungle Boy a little bit. Pretty good, he's fine. So at the end, Jungle Boy won. So yeah. Then I guess everyone, Matt Hardy's group, Christian Cage, all of them come out, and it was like, yeah, it's like the same thing that happened a few weeks ago. It's like they feel like they need ex WWE guys like Christian Cage and Matt Hardy to actually elevate people. But it's I would say WWE kind of got the winning end of everything. For example, Christian Cage versus Edge. Who would you rather have? You rather have Edge because Edge won the championship like how many times? Former Intercontinental Champion, former Hardcore Tag Team Champion. He has more charisma than Christian. So I think they lucked out on that one. WWE. And Matt Hardy versus Jeff Hardy. Who's the better Hardy? Jeff Hardy, because Jeff Hardy was at least a former WWE champion, and Matt Hardy was pretty much nothing. But you kind of saw that it was Matt Hardy that looked like the big star, but it was actually Jeff Hardy. Or you got Seth Rollins and Dean Ambrose. Or Roman Reigns. Who's the bigger star? Roman Reigns and Seth Rollins to a certain extent. But, it wasn't like Dean Ambrose. Man, y'all signing up the wrong people. But anyway, uh, that was the end of the segment. Then we went to backstage with MJF. Basically, it was about Chris Jericho, Chris Jericho, Chris Jericho, Chris Jericho, Chris Jericho, Chris Jericho. This and that. Chris Jericho, whoa, 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 Chris Jericho. So that's basically what his segment was all about. Then we go backstage with Andrade. I think with Andrade, I think AEW spent too much money on him because I kind of don't see what is so significant about Andrade except he was a former WWE guy who decided to sign with AEW. I think they spend way too much money on him. I think they try to make him out to be the next Eddie Guerrero. It's not gonna work. You know, he's kind of Andrade is kind of like when they signed Alberto Del Rio, but Alberto Del Rio was kind of bigger than Andrade. So I don't know what they're gonna do with him, but he's gonna fight at Road Ranger in Florida, Miami or something next week. So I think they spend way too much money on this guy. And we go in the ring with Kenny Omega, the AEW champion, and I really didn't care. Then backstage with Brian Pillman Jr., who I think should be on NXT. You know, he looks like the type of person out of everybody on this show. Brian Pillman Jr. should be on NXT. Basically, he's talking about his match against Muro, and that's basically it. I haven't really heard him talk that much, so you know he kind of looked convincing a little bit, but you know you kind of saw the shades of his father, Brian Pillman. So I think he should sign with NXT. Then we have our match between Brian Pillman Jr. versus Miro. Guess Miro got new entrance music. Well, I really don't like his entrance music. I think AEW does a bad job when it comes to entrance music. The group that does their music sounds generic. You know, Def Rebels is better because Def Rebel at least has like music with some type of lyrics to the music sometimes. And AEW, they're so generic with their theme music. Um, so I kind of prefer Rusev to have some type of gangsta Russian type of music, but they got some type of I don't know. I can come up with better music than that. Like his music like what the heck is that all about? And you know Mark Henry's theme music and Big Show's theme music. Like what the heck? Big Show's theme music sound like he got like some type of Hollywood theme. You know WWE with Jim Johnston and some extent to CFO and Def Rebel, they actually did better jobs with theme music. But anyway, so you got Muro versus Brian Pillman Jr. The winner was Muro. Um, I don't know. I'm starting to think maybe Muro needs a manager. Maybe Lana. I wonder if Lana's available to be his manager. I think I think Rusev probably needs a manager, but he's very dominant as champion. You know, he's staying his own thing. But as long as he's not with the fighting against anybody from the Dark Order. Speaking of the Dark Order, it's a backstage segment with the Dark Order and Adam Page. I think Dark Order showed up during Kenny Omega. I kind of really didn't care about that. I didn't write too much about that because I really didn't care. I don't know why Dark Order is still together. You know, Dark Order needs to break up. After when Luke Harper passed away, it's time to break up Dark Order and let everybody go their own separate ways. And AEW, since WWE is releasing their talent, you guys just start releasing your talent. And that's pretty much everybody from the Dark Order. That way you don't have so many factions. That way you don't have so many people trying to get on TV. You need to start firing a lot of people. Let them go. WWE is not going to sign them. I think I think AEW won't release their talent because they think WWE will sign them. But I highly doubt that WWE will sign any AEW talent because they're not looking at your talents like, hey, just sign those people. Like WWE doesn't care when they let go of their talent. They don't care where they go. They don't care if they go to AEW because they know that it's not going to boost the ratings up because you guys are not signing up like people that will get people to watch the show. Like they saw how you treated Christian. They saw how you treated Matt Hardy. They see how you treated Mark Henry and Big Show and Andrade and all those other people you signed. So WWE's really not worried about it. So we go backstage with Dark Order and Adam Page. I guess they trying to get Adam Page to challenge Kenny Omega. I think they should have did this a long time ago because the momentum for Adam Page has completely dropped, and I think they missed the ball with trying to get Adam Page to fight against Kenny Omega. So it's too late. It's too late for that because I was very high on Adam Page, and the guy come out wrestle a match, wins pretty good. They just pretty much messed up his momentum, whatever it was. Then we have a backstage segment with Team Taz. So I guess Team Taz things are not going too good. It's obvious. And you had Hook, and you had Taz, and you got Powerhouse Hobbs. I guess next week there's going to be a match, FTW Championship. It's going to be Ricky Starks versus Brian Cage. Hopefully Ricky Starks can wrestle in the match because I can't believe that move that Adam Page did, and he didn't get paralyzed from that. So our next match, especially paralyzed, was Nyla Rose and Vicky Guerrero versus Reba Rebel, and Britt Baker tag team match. The match was cringy. The match didn't even seem safe. You had a spot where Nyla Rose. You don't see Nia Jax. You don't even see Nia Jax do this stuff. Nia Jax don't get up on the top rope. She don't do that stuff. You got Nyla Rose getting on top of the rope, did some type of knee on the back neck of Britt Baker, like she knocked her out. She was out. She was knocked out. I mean, it was like she had a concussion. It was like the same effect when Xia Li she kicked Mercedes Martinez in the side of the head, and the referee, the nice referee, she did the right thing. She put up the X sign, and the match was over. AEW they continued this match. Not only that, I think Rebel she got in the match. Reba Rebel she got in the match. I think she was trying to break it up. I don't know what happened. Like her ankle, her leg, some went out. They continued the match. I just can't believe it. The match to me it was just dangerous. And you guys cannot be saying stuff about WWE without looking at your stuff. I mean, at least with NXT, they stopped the match. Like they didn't even put the camera on Mercedes Martinez. I think when she got knocked out, they didn't put the camera. They had the camera on Xia Li. They could have been disgusting by putting the camera on Mercedes Martinez knocked out. They could have did that, but they didn't. So that was kudos on NXT. But they had it was just terrible, for AEW to do this. And people getting injured on this show. Why are people getting injured on this show? But calm down on this stuff. It's not worth it. Especially if you sign a match. It's a match on free TV. So Britt Baker and Rebel they won. So I felt bad for people in this match. It could have did a better job, but here they go. So we go backstage with Inner Circle. Uh, Jake Hager, Jack Swagger. And man, he was talking. Man. Okay, so Kyle O'Reilly cuts better promos than Cody Rhodes, Seth Rollins, and Jack Swagger. Cause I'm like, man, what is he talking about? And that was it. And then we had a main event, MJF versus Sammy Guevara. Uh, Sammy Guevara really needs to calm down. You know, I know Sammy Guevara. I know he's trying to impress Chris Jericho. You know, his boo, and and um and Tony Khan, his sugar daddy. But come on, it's what he was doing. Like there was a spot in the match that that MJF was like out like where the crowd's at, and Sammy Guevara did some type of flip move. Like man, I'm like man, this dude he's gonna break his neck or something. Like this is not like what Ricochet did. That was what Ricochet did to John Morrison was very impressive, and it looked safe. You know because they could have had like a crash pad behind there, and he did a crossbody. This dude Sammy Guevara did some type of flip thing in the audience. There were chairs around. I'm like, man, he gonna break his neck. But again, I fast forward through this match. A lot of this match. And at the end, MJF won. And then they do some video package to to actually, you know, show how the year was, you know, ever since AEW was, you know, what happened during the year. And somebody said, good old JR, man, he said, enjoy WWE Dynamite. So here's what JR is thinking. JR is thinking of WWE, but his wallet is with AEW. So, yeah. So, no Jay Cargill, no other, well, certain people on this show, none of them didn't show up. So this is my AEW review. So see ya. This is TJ saying.